or any plants can actually take root here. We bring it back to life and we bring it back to production so that it can feed people and it can feed the communities, and communities can start thriving again. We need to create water harvesting structures that maintain the water on site. If we look at the soil the way it is right now, the water cannot stay here, so it rains and it flows away. So these half moons, they are the first step in this rehabilitation process, in this soil build-up process. On this site here, we have 7,500 half moons, each of which has a 4-meter diameter. This takes one person to dig 1 half moon per day. This site has been dug by a team of 150 people. So how does the half moon work? The rain basically comes here, and we have put the half moons on contour lines, which means the rain, when it falls to the ground, it flows into this area here, which is a little bit lower, so that it retains the water. And we create this embankment, okay, that's a little bit higher up, and make sure that the water doesn't overflow, okay, and it stays here and it feeds these plants. So we are mainly using local species like the sorghum and the millet that actually has been domesticated here many thousands of years ago. So it actually comes from the Sahel and produce a maximum quantity of biomass as well. So they are perfect to rehabilitate the land while feeding the people at the same time. This is nothing new. We have not invented a technology here. The half moon technology is actually an endogenous technology to the Sahel and has been forgotten over time. We have rescued it from the past. So the sorghum that you can see behind us actually grew only with rainwater. Around 10 to 15% of water that will be caught here will enter the ground and will recharge the groundwater tables. That way we actually achieve a balance of water. So we are not depleting the water resources, but we're making sure that we keep enough water in the ground for future generations. Then we have another system that mainly consists of planting lines. We have horticulture beds where we can plant tomatoes, okra, and so on. Here we have trenches where we have planted moringa, we have planted pigeon pea, and we have planted also some okra that has grown wildly here. And the idea here is that we have biomass trenches that will provide biomass as the system grows. In between these trenches, we have planting pits where we have planted fruit trees. We have guava, citrus. This is just a very first step in this pilot. We'll also be using other native species that we'll be planting in the pits that will drive the rejuvenation of the soil and the protection of the soil as the system starts growing into abundance and producing food and life for the people here. In its mature state, this system will look like a forest, forest lines that will be producing biomass and fruit, and we'll have other lines in between where we'll be producing horticulture, vegetables. This is exactly the way nature works. We came across syntropic farming, which is a type of conservation agriculture that has been developed in Brazil based on global indigenous knowledge. In the whole world, many indigenous populations have a similar way, traditionally, to do agriculture that is different from conventional agriculture and which mimics forest dynamics. In the next step, we'll be growing trees here. So if we look at the vastness of this area here, we can plant 10,000s of trees into these structures.
Sometimes you come in the villages, you don't see nobody. You can just see some animals to say, okay, I think people are here. Usually every year after the rainy season, most of the young people migrate to Dakar and other big towns in Senegal. This is the internal or the local migration. Some leave Senegal to go to Spain. What they are going to do there? Agriculture, that they leave behind. They go to harvest apples there, why they leave the same activity here. Before, they were thinking about how to migrate, but they told me now they don't think about that. With this borehole we put in place, now we are going to work 12 months on vegetable production. Now these young boys who are very key for the village security, for the village development, now don't need to go to live just the old people in the village. Now they will contribute to the local dynamic of the community. Now they are together, they have social cohesion.
Now, this project was really interesting because the World Food Program wanted to demonstrate how you could take the most devastated areas and turn them back into resilient food-producing locations. And they specifically placed their project on a very degraded landscape that had been taken down to bare, compacted earth. This is actually the front line of the Great Green Wall of Africa. The Senegal River, at least for this region, that's where you're going to have your real, true dividing line between the Sahara and the Sahel. So the work of the WFP is solving this problem directly here on the ground with the Great Green Wall of Africa.